Hello and welcome to the new moon in Leo horoscope with Mayan Mezzini. New moon arrives just 2 days after the Venus rebirth. In the ancient traditions, Venus retrograde meant that the goddess was traveling in the underworld, going through a death and rebirth process. The time of the Venus conjunction with the Sun, when she is invisible, is the time for the transformation. That will happen on August 13th. This is usually the day in which relationships break, jobs terminated, trends shift, loyalties change, and a new beginning can take place. The new moon in Leo features the Sun and Moon conjunction in an exact square to Uranus. When there is a partile aspect, such as this, the exact same degree, we cannot avoid or avert its influence. Sun square Uranus is usually an aspect I rather like. It is good for astrologers, it is great for raising consciousness, and even better for technology, AI, and progress. On the downside, it is disruptive. Very disruptive to the point where we have to adapt to something new rather than stay the same. The moon squares Uranus aspect spells bad news. The moon is about holding on to our habits, our heritage and family. It is about giving warmth and nurturing, and when Uranus is in an aspect to it, we get coldness instead of warmth. Our habits and the heritage they are based on seem to shatter in the face of progress and radicalism. Relationships, especially family relationships, go through tough time. Some just can't take it anymore, feeling suffocated, and that they just leave. So, this new moon will bring with it many changes, most of them in close relationships and families going through separations and the need to adapt to them. Leo is the sign representing the complete human, one who becomes a leader after learning to stand on his own 2 feet. This new moon will make it clear who the real leaders are and who are just children pretending to be adults. Leo is the sign connected with the ego, with popularity, with the desire to be seen and be noticed. It is amusing to see how much people crave fame and notoriety until they get it and life becomes unbearable. The new moon will cause some to do some odd things just to get attention. Please beware of this tendency because this attention-seeking behavior may bring the wrong kind of attention and will be costly. The chart also features a planetary arrangement termed a kite formation. A kite formation is a combination of 2 harmonious triangles and 1 opposition. It gives momentum that can be capitalized with the right focus. As long as there are only harmonious aspects, we tend to stick to our habits and we don't make that extra effort. But in the kite formation, there is an opposition aspect that forces us to face the challenge and to take the next step. It is the difference between those who go to the gym and those who only talk about going to the gym. But in this new moon, it is Mars in opposition to Neptune, and those two do not get along well. Neptune depletes Mars, making him moody and agitated. Mars in Virgo is a doer. He just wants to get things done, and done well. He wants to move from one errand to the next. Neptune disrupts the tidiness Mars is attempting to create, and this combination gives the kite formation a slightly different tone than the usual. The formation will not have a focus. Mercury is also in Virgo, his home sign, where he is considered strong, but Mercury is slow, almost stationary, prior to its retrograde, which will start on August 23. The days leading up to Mercury retrograde are sometimes more exasperating than the actual retrograde. So, the new moon has the potential of stopping us in our tracks. With the Uranus influence on the Sun and the Moon, we may not get back to the same tracks. The theme of breaking out of tradition is even more highlighted with Saturn solitary. Saturn makes no aspects to any planet, and therefore when we look for something to hold on to, when we try to rely on what used to work for us, it is no longer here or is hard to find. Yet, not all is so bleak. Jupiter in a harmonious aspect to Mercury helps making the transitions a bit smoother. It also signifies that we will be able to keep our optimism. Leo is the sign of being magnanimous. Sometimes all that you need to feel this way is to be with people who appreciate you and who enjoy the same things you do. I hope that you will all be able to find companions and take advantage of this time of stepping out of the boundaries. This summer of 2023 is an opportunity and necessity to step out of a few karmic wheels. Try to view your relationships as a spinning wheels connecting you and others. Uranus brings a high voltage lightning that breaks the circle and sends those spinning on it in different directions. It is an emotionally challenging experience, but a necessary one for further growth. Some will go through an experience of getting what they wanted, but with the receiving comes a weird feeling of emptiness instead of fulfillment. So what to do with all this information? These 2 weeks are great for doing something out of the ordinary. As long as you are not just trying to get attention, rather you focus on something that interests you, you will be more than fine. You will actually enjoy this time. It is not a good time to start a new relationship. It is a good time to rekindle with people you haven't seen for a while. It is not a good time to start learning or studying something new. It is a good time to finally use all those skills you already have. My name is Mayan Medjini. I'm an astrologer, and you are welcome to send me an email to astrologer@astrologywork.com and schedule your personal consultation. And now for the full moon horoscopes by sign. Aries. You are trying to fix everything and tidy up whatever you can, but the more you try, it seems that the worse the outcome is. Mars in opposition to Uranus depletes you of your energy, makes you moody, and you just can't keep going as you wish. It is best at this time to allow yourself some daydreaming time and to understand that sometimes the best road to health, let nature do its thing. The nice side of this transit is that you are more vulnerable than the usual, with more empathy, which can help you in your relationships. Taurus. Many of you are experiencing a new beginning. It is not what you wanted, and you feel a bit out of sorts with all that goes on, but at least there is a beginning. The second half of the Venus retrograde is a great time for trying something new, for breaking your routine with something spicy, and best of all, it is to let your artistic side take the lead and insist on being and doing something beautiful. Gemini. Mercury is about to go retrograde, and you feel as if you are driving behind a slow car and cannot find a way to pass it. It is a time that you will test your patience, and the best you can do is to go slow and fix all that needs fixing in the meantime. Cancer. A new moon in an aspect to Uranus is a challenge to emotional ties, especially those you take for granted. The necessity for karmic growth is especially relevant for you, and growing pains are a bit painful, but offer you further growth opportunities. Leo. A new moon in your sign asks you to take a bold step in your life. With the Venus retrograde in your sign, this step will influence all of your relationships. Many of you will face a weird feeling of getting what you want but feeling empty when that happens. It is a natural flow that gives you the impetus to look for new ways of expression. Virgo. This new moon with Mars and Mercury in your sign reminds you of all the piles of unfinished projects, stuff to sort out, and promises you made to yourself that now is the time to attend to. It may feel like the opposite of what you would rather do, but clearing some of your collectibles will make it clear which of them has value and which do not. Libra. The second half of the Venus retrograde is a bit easier than the first part. Many of you will try and reinvent yourself with a focus on your appearance. While you do that, you let go of some of the people you idolized and try to look like them. It is a good time to experiment with new looks before you will settle in on one. The same is true for your relationships as well. Scorpio. The new moon will bring with it a weird experience in which you will feel focused and motivated towards your goals, but when you try and act upon it, your energy depletes fast and you lose your concentration. Try and not let the frustration disrupt your relationships too much. Sagittarius. The new moon will bring back into your lives people you used to collaborate with, and maybe you will collaborate with again. The energetic push you are getting is a good one, and if you are able not to exaggerate, you will be able to capitalize on it. The key is to stick to what you already know and not gamble on some new venture. Capricorn, the new moon doesn't affect you personally, and it will be a bit disconcerting to have the feeling of standing on the side and observing everything that goes on around you. Usually you take all the responsibility, but at this time you can take the opportunity to let others be responsible for themselves. Aquarius, new moon opposite your sign and in an aspect to Uranus gives you a weird feeling of being on the other side. You are used to head your way when you feel like it, but in the coming weeks you will experience what it feels like to be the one who stays while others move on. Pisces, the new moon will send you looking for people you have had a relationship with, and you are still not sure why that relationship ended. It will be a time for trying to understand some of the relationship dynamics in your life. Rekindling the relationships may bring with it some career opportunities. My name is Mayan, and you are welcome to contact me and schedule a private consultation. And in the meantime, until the full moon, blessings to all.